Okay, well, thanks for coming again. We appreciate that very much. Basically today, as you remember, we talked about listening yesterday. We talked about the power of actual listening and how to become a better listener. There's really only a couple points left on this. The first one was do not interrupt. See, in this crazy market, I mean, people, they need to express themselves, okay? Because they're hurt, they're pissed, they're upset, they're insane, they're happy, they're mad, whatever it is, do not interrupt. They need to express themselves, okay? And so that is something that you'll want to do, especially if they're telling you stories about how rotten the other agent is. Let them tell you, so you won't go ahead and stop and say, no, Tom's a great agent. Don't do that. The next thing, of course, is to listen to understand. Now, we mentioned this yesterday. Listen to understand versus responding. You see, more often than not, we try to take everything they say and form in our head a way to go ahead and respond to that. When in reality, they're just trying to express something, an idea, a thought, a concern, whatever it is, but we're not letting them. If you can start to implement these ideas on learning how to listen to understand, becoming a better listener by do not interrupting, things of that nature, then really, you can think about it this way, the money is starting to come in. Because people like talking about themselves. So let them, okay? So some of the other skills that Mike said, obviously the skill of listening was one of them. One of the skills that Mike said we needed to do was number 19, I think it is. 15, okay, was the skill of manufacturing at will, okay? At will. And when I say at will, what does that really mean? Whenever you want to, right now, okay? So here you are, you're getting ready to go to a listing presentation, and somebody tells you that the deal you've just been working on for the last 6 months is failing to close, and guess what? All the stuff you put in is out the window, and you lost the client. How do you feel?
No.
Oh, can't believe this. This is horrible, right? And now you got a listing presentation in 20 minutes. You have to have a skill at will, okay, to go ahead and manufacture in energy and enthusiasm, even when you don't feel like it. If you want to sell more homes in 2012 than you did in 2011, you have to have this precious skill to be able to go ahead, focus at a moment's notice, and change your state to become something that you are greater than you were right now, okay? The thing about it is, you have to be able to develop this skill, and if you want more energy and more enthusiasm in what you're doing, okay, you have to be able to do a couple things. First, you have to control what you think about. You have to control what you think, okay? Because if your head is full of this last client that burned you, and how this deal got screwed up, and how, why am I even in this business, okay? Your mindset going into here is going to be pretty crappy, and it's going to be hard for you to feel good about what you do and enthusiastic about it, okay? We've talked about this 100 times, and we've talked about the other aspect of making energy and enthusiasm at will being one of the things that what you eat. What you eat. Okay, so here it is. You've had breakfast. You come into work. Something light, something easy, something easy for your body to digest. And you're going to be prospecting. It's easy for you because you're, not, oh God, I can't believe I ate the biscuits and gravy and the chicken fried steak. Your body's having to take time to digest it. You got a big lump in your stomach, It's hard to feel energetic because your body's taking the time to go ahead and make it happen. The other thing that makes it hard for you to be energetic and enthusiastic is also when you're going out and having a hard, heavy lunch. I mean, hard, heavy lunch, man, you've got to think about it, because in the afternoon, you're prospecting. Or I'm sorry, you're presenting, okay? What if maybe you don't eat? Because then you have no energy at 5 o'clock. What if you're like me and you don't eat anything, except Red Bull and, energy drinks, right? By about 7 o'clock, you're done. You're, oh, God, right? So if you want to have more energy and enthusiasm, control what you think, control what you eat, and control your physical activity. Okay? It is a known fact. It's undisputed that the better you take care of yourself, the healthier you will be long term. If you find yourself getting sick all the time and you've got a cold everywhere, and every time you turn around you got a sore throat or whatever, think about what you're doing with your body. If you want to avoid being sick, work out a little bit. And I'm not saying you got to go pound the iron and do a million push-ups. Take a walk. Okay? Take a walk. Wake up maybe 20 minutes early. Do some stretching, some exercises. Get on the treadmill. Who knows? In the afternoon, do Pilates. Whatever it is that you do. Okay? But get some activity so your body can respond to the stress of this business. This business is stressful. And if you think that in 2012 it's going to get any easier, you are sorely mistaken. It's going to be even harder. Because now, let's put it this way. If agents like me can do business, okay? I'm not that great. If I can do business, okay, and I have to work my ass off to compete with some of these people, they will only get better. I will only get better. And if I get better as bad as I am, you have to get even better. So this is going to require a lot of controlling what you think and what you eat and what you do. So that will enable you to manufacture at will energy and enthusiasm. Number 16 of the skills that Mike said we needed to learn. We needed to be able to develop the skill, okay, of having other agents work with you. Having the other agents work with you. You see, we have a tendency, I think, as an industry, to be prima donnas. And I'm guilty of it. We think we're so smart. We think we're so good and everything else. And if somebody doesn't fit into the mold of what we think they should be, then we tend to denigrate them. I can't believe that stupid agent, Fast Eddie.
He's there.
He's there, right? Fast Eddie, I can't believe that guy. He's such and such and such and such and such. Look, if you're going to do more business in 2012, okay, you're going to have to deal with the Fast Eddies of the world, okay? You have to have the skill of dealing with him, because if on one deal, okay, you guys have a really rotten deal, he will not show another property of yours ever again. Okay? That may not seem like much because you think, you know what, I don't care. I mean, who gives a damn? I never liked him to begin with, right? Think about it this way. Let's say Eddie, okay, let's say he does, I don't know, he's a medium producer, he does 20-something deals a year. That's 20 homes that he sells each and every year. If yours is one of them, and you make on average, let's say $4,000 a commission, okay, the lifetime that he's been in the business, let's say is 4 years, 6 years, something like that, then you've pissed away $20,000, $30,000 because you couldn't get past this. You have to develop a skill of having other agents work with you. You have to be able to be friendly and play nice, okay? The next, number 17, Mike says, that you need to learn, you need to get good at, these skills that are required for you to be good, okay? Number 17 is the skill, all right, of providing services Providing services that your clients will want to come back to you time and time again. See, would you agree with me that your client that's done business with you in the past is probably the easiest sale you'll ever make? I mean, they trust you, right? Look at the Dina Westemeyers of the world. Does she prospect? No, not really. Does she do business? Absolutely. Does she have the ability to go in and tell people, look, you need to do this? And they say, okay. They never question her about commission. They don't ask her about the length of the listing. They don't ask her, what are you going to do to sell my home? The past client is probably the greatest asset you have. And I want to change your mind a little bit on this. I've been doing some research. What if? What if we tend to think of past clients, right? What would happen to your mindset if you took the word past out of the equation? Think about your database for a minute. If everybody in your database, you took the word past out of it, they're clients. They're people you've done business with. They're people you've helped, right? And then, you've also got current clients. People you're actually doing something with right now.
More like active clients.
Active clients, yeah, something like that. I don't know, change the word around. And yeah, it's semantics, but think about the way your brain approaches this. If I started thinking of my clients, my clientele, my people, my this, my that, then I'm going to take better care of them. If I look at this, say, this canceled listing, then I have lost a client. Okay? If I failed to sell their home and it expires, I have lost a client. Okay? If I sell a home to them, I have gained a client. Okay? Clients, the reason why I'm bringing this up is when you approach it from this mindset, you will provide services to them that will be of value. So for example, past client. Who would have more value, at least in the, maybe it's just me, in the past client, okay, what value would a home evaluation, how much value would that be to them versus a client? And maybe it's just me, but for me, I don't know, for me it just seems a little different, okay? When I can look at this and I think, you know what, my past client, it may not make that big of a difference because they're not going to sell. But with my clients, they have need of these types of services. And maybe it's just mental masturbation on my part. But for me, that seems to make something different. So, I don't know. If it's value to you, take it. If it isn't, then throw it away. Okay? But regardless of what you think, number 17, Mike says we need to be developing skills to providing services that will cause people to come to us time and time again. Okay? The next thing, Mike says, number 18. Okay? Let me just get back to my notes there. As far as this property is concerned, okay? Actually, I think there is no 18. Let me just double check. It is. Oh, so much better. Now we step into the part of the 2011 retreat, okay? And I want to paint a picture for you real quick. Mike's got done giving us, this is about the afternoon of the second day. He's done giving us these 18 points. We've all written down, hands are tired, and then we go home to the hotel room, and then we come back, and we do the rah-rah thing a little bit, and then Matthew comes on. And if you've never had a chance to see Matthew Ferry speak, let me tell you, you're missing out. He is a fantastic speaker. And one of the things that he talked about was within real estate itself, okay, there were a couple concepts that he wanted to bring out. And one of the first things, he called them the 3 E's of selling. The 3 E's of selling. And my marker looks like it's about to crap out on me here a little bit. Let me pull this out. Okay, the 3 E's of selling. I guess I shouldn't have dropped it. I'll bear with it here. All right, so the first thing he said is that real estate, it really does need to be easy. And it also needs to be effortless. And that it also needs to be enjoyable. Now think about your business. Your business that you come into, that you step into every day, is it easy, effortless, and enjoyable? Is it?
Yes.
Is it? Good. Okay, some of us it is, some of it isn't. Okay. The concept is, if you can create a business for yourself that is easy, that is effortless, that is enjoyable, then you will not have any problem doing this for a long period of time. Okay? And he talked about the mindset that you need to have to get to this point where your business is easy, effortless, and enjoyable. Okay? The mindset that he talked about is really is surrounded by a concept of when action, when you're in action, I would write this one down myself. When you're in action, okay, magic happens. When you are working, when you're in the moment, okay? When Oro Valley calls Carl because Julie Tainter and George held open houses and trying to sell a house, and oh my God, there's so many problems. They stuck all these signs up. Look, I'm not going to bitch. I can't believe you are holding an open house. How dare you be active? I'm not going to be a bastard about this, right? But when you're in action, magic happens.
We did it.
If you sit down and you don't do anything, nothing happens. But when you're in the moment, I can't tell you, the last 2 days have been so busy for me. One thing after the other. But it feels good. It feels great. The last week of the year, I was pumping things out. Busy. But I loved it. I found it easy. I got a lot of stuff to do, but you know what? I can handle this. Effortless. It's going to require some work, but I can do it. Enjoyable. You bet. I'm busy. I like it. Right? When you're in action, the magic happens. So let's talk about this mindset that he's talking about, with that being the foreground of what we're trying to talk about. Okay? He said, look, how top people, okay, how the top producers change their mindset. Top producers change their mindset. Okay? Because you have to understand, this is a mindset business. You're going to have great skills. Smart as a whip. Know your scripts. Back and forth. Okay? But if you go out into the operating public and you have a bad attitude about it, you're not going to go anywhere. Conversely, you could be stupid as a post, okay, but be enthusiastic about it and sell hundreds of homes. And if you don't believe me, go see Kurt Stinson. Okay? Kurt will tell you, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. I'm not the sharpest needle in the haystack. He'll tell you. But when you look at the interview on the channel Sell More Homes Now, you'll see in Kurt's interview, he says, you know what? The thing that brought me where I am right now is I am personable. People like him. Even if you hate him, you like him. There's been times I hate Kurt Stinson. Everybody knows that. But I liked him. I hate your guts, but I love you. It's a love-hate thing. The thing about it is how people change their mindset, okay, to be strong and powerful. All right. The first thing that they did was they learned how to control how to control their drunk monkey. And if you've never heard him talk about this before, it's a very ironic concept. He calls it the drunk monkey. He said, in your head, okay, you have, and you know this, you have your subconscious mind, and then you have your unconscious mind. I'm sorry, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is responsible for making sure that you're breathing, that you don't forget to let your heart beat, records things so you know which way to go home. Have you ever been driving along and you kind of listen to the music and all of a sudden you're at home and you don't know how you got there? That's your subconscious mind working, right? Your conscious mind is the part that takes action, okay? Move my arm, okay? Tells me what to think about certain stuff. And he said, the problem is your mind, your subconscious mind, works against you. It forms opinions about people, places, and things that are not necessarily true. It's that fight or flight response. Basically, it is there to defend you when other people are not attacking you. Example. Okay? I don't want to sound racial about this, but let's just pretend. I am walking down the street in an area that is not so nice. 2 days ago, a group of teenagers, 5 deep, beat an old woman half to death. I read this in the newspaper. I walk down the street, and on this 5 feet away from me come 5 teenagers. Now, what is my mind going to say? Is it going to say, oh, that's just a couple kids? Or is it going to say, ooh, maybe those people are the ones I need to think about? Yeah, I need to prepare. Maybe I need to cross the street, right? Your drunk monkey protects you in certain situations. Like a car is coming down the road. It says, hey, don't jump in the street. But it also hinders you. It's like a monkey set loose in your head. Instead of grabbing bananas and stuff like that, it takes a swig of the bottle and it starts throwing bananas everywhere, just acting crazy. And then the next thing you know, you've got these thoughts all over your head. I'm no good. I'm not good enough. I don't look as smart as he is. Or she dresses better than me. I can't believe they drove that. I can't believe they wear this. All these crazy thoughts. And you can't control it. Okay, maybe I'm crazy. Have you ever had that situation where you have judged yourself against somebody else and found yourself wanting?
Yes.
Have you ever had yourself in a situation where you felt you were outclassed? Have you ever felt yourself in a situation when you knew that things were okay, they were safe, but yet you acted, you got that little heart palpitation? You can't help that. But what you can do is learn how to control it a little better. Because the drunk monkey is not your friend. This thing inside your brain that tells you, makes judgments, and talks about other people behind their back, that is not your friend. You allow your brain to say things to yourself that if I said them to you, you'd punch me in the face. If I said, Amos, you know what? I can't believe people actually listen with you. You are ridiculous. You're stupid. You're short. You wear this. I can't believe you wear that. Oh, is that the car you drive? Oh my God, you're not nearly as good as Kurt. I mean, pow! You hit me in the mouth, right? But you let your own mind tell you this every single day. Maybe not to that extreme, but you let yourself talk to yourself that way. They've learned how to control this, okay? They've learned to control this through affirmations. Okay? They learn how to control this by what they read, by what they think. Okay? And how they do that is they get an accountability partner. We've said this 100 times, that you are stronger when you are with someone. Being a lone wolf is hard to do. If you're working from your home, you will not be as successful as you can be. Period. End of conversation. You can't take it away from me. And I know this because I have seen it dozens of times, and I myself have experienced it. when you work from home all alone, you are not going to be successful. Or at least as successful as you want to be. You have to have somebody who can help keep your mind in shape. And you say, hey, man, Carl, you're going to do great today. I'm excited about it. Tell me about what you're going to do. I'm going to prospect for 3 hours, and I'm going to talk to 40 people. All right, great, man. I know you can do that. What are you going to do today? Well, I'm going to do such and such and such. Okay, great. Let's talk again in an hour. Okay, perfect. Go get them. And you uplift each other. That accountability partner helps control that drunk monkey. The next thing that they do, okay, is they understand that my opinion of things. Do any of you ever study Zen or some other religions or anything like that? Yeah? No? Okay. All right. My opinion of things is the sole cause. Sole cause of suffering, okay, of suffering. I got to find my place again. I need to write in bigger letters. Suffering, okay, and lack of confidence. When you start to think about things and you have opinions, that's when you start to assign blame, assign thought. Your drunk monkey goes into action. And that creates suffering. When you start thinking, this is the way things are supposed to be. I'm supposed to, and this is really helpful, I think, for me personally, when it comes to things like family life, marriage, divorce, kids, whatever. I have a set thing in my life, in my mind, of the way things are supposed to be. And when they step outside the mark, just a smidge, that creates suffering for me because that doesn't fit what I think it should be. And it creates a lack of confidence in me because I think, well, if this doesn't match that, well then obviously I am not good enough, or I am failing, or I am this, or I am that. In a professional sense, that's my personal life, in a professional sense, okay, if your opinion is that the seller should listen to you every single time and do what you tell them to do in terms of a price reduction or this or that or pay the commission or whatever, and then they don't do it, you start to have some suffering. The Buddhists, Zen Buddhists, they call it dukkha, all right, which is uneasiness, okay, this uneasiness, this suffering. And a lack of confidence. Am I really worth 6%? Maybe I should cut my commission. Maybe I should do 6 months. Maybe I should do 2 days. I don't know. You start asking yourself these questions. Top producers have learned how to control these thoughts and understand that my opinion is what causes the problem. So I'm going to set my opinions aside. Doesn't mean that they don't have them. And there are certain standards that they follow. They will not take less than a 6% commission. They will not take it less for 6 months. They will not pay, you got to pay a $495 commission or whatever it is, okay? They have standards, but they set their opinion aside and they're willing to be flexible. And that is some of the things that top producers do to help change their mindset, okay? Another thing that they've learned to do is that they have learned that selling, okay, selling is not meant to be hard. It's not meant to be hard. If you knew that going into this, I was to say, you know what? Here's the deal. You will not get paid for 3 months. You will have to talk to people who hate you. You'll have to be on the phone doing something you don't like to do. And you will never get paid, and you have to pay your own taxes. Oh, by the way, we don't offer health insurance. I mean, who would take that job? But what does your broker tell you? Your broker tells you, hey, you're going to be great. Get into real estate, man. You look like you're sharp, you're well-spoken, you're articulate. I think you'll do great, right? You'll get paid on the 1st and the 15th. You'll have a big fancy car. You'll drive people around. You'll be great, And then when you get into the business, you find, oh my God, it's tough. Holy crap, what am I supposed to do? It's not meant to be hard, okay? It's meant to be effortless and easy and enjoyable. But the problem is, how do you get to this? To the point where it's hard and not enjoyable and not effortless. How do you get from one to the other? Well, look. The drunk monkey, your mind, if you will, your subconscious that goes crazy, makes it so. That's the reason why it hurts so much. Okay, think about it this way. Let me try and put this into maybe a little bit different of a tune. Okay. Here's the way things are supposed to be. Okay? And then here's the way things are. What stops this from being this?
Decision.
Huh?
Your decision to make.
Your decision, okay, true, all right.
And your actions.
Experience.
Mm.
The experiences that you have, you can go into this thinking, these sellers are going to love me. They're going to sign on the dotted line every time. I got no problem with that. And then you go in and then they battle you a little bit. And then you think, holy crap, my reality is not what my fantasy is. Okay? But your experiences, okay, are handled by this filter we call the drunk monkey, your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, think about this, your conscious mind, okay, the larger part of your brain. Your conscious mind is the part that records stuff. Now, it's like a tape recorder going in your head. There's no positive, there's no negative, there's just is. It's just the way things are. It doesn't assign blame, it doesn't assign credit, it doesn't assign problems. It just says this is what happened. You take that part of your head out, play it in court, you'll see who stabbed the guy, right? The subconscious mind is the drunk monkey, aka, right? Is the part that acts as a filter. This assigns what you think it is. Your mind, once you receive this experience, like Amos says, is your reaction, how you respond to it. Instead of that person not signing the listing agreement because they didn't like you, which is one thing your mind says, oh, they didn't like you. Maybe it was because they weren't ready. Okay, I'm trying to see. I get this blank look. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying when I say your mind is what maketh it so? For example, heaven or hell is but what a mind makes it to be. You've heard that part, right? So why is it then when we go to these experiences, the listing appointments, the showing appointments, the buyers, the negotiations, and all these things, and something shitty happens, why is it that we always assume it's us? More often than not. It's something I did or failed to do. How many careers and deals have been lost because you didn't look at it as thinking, well, maybe they weren't ready yet. Or maybe this wasn't supposed to happen. Or maybe something better is supposed to be coming my way. We don't think about that. We think about the negative. What top producers have learned is they've learned that this life, this business, is meant to be enjoyable. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to be effortless. Not hard. The thing that I want to get you to understand here is it's just as easy to believe that it's enjoyable, easy, and effortless as it is to believe it is a piece of crap. It takes no more thought process. It's just easier for you to assume this because of what you read, because of what you eat, because of the people you talk to. If you talk to Kurt Stinson, okay, you say, well, hey, what's going to happen? Hey, that person, you know what, they're the one who's losing, not me. You talk to Patrick Ferry about a deal that doesn't go through. He'll say, well, you know what? Hey, it's your for sale by owner. I got a house to live in. I've got the buyers. And frankly, I don't care if I sell your home. For him, it's enjoyable, easy, effortless. Something to think about. Okay? They've discovered that. This is something, if you can apply that to your life in a daily fashion, if you can apply that thought consistently, okay, you'll find that your life will get a lot easier, okay? It's the negative emotions that you have that are repelling to people. When you start thinking this way, okay, it actually repels people. They do not want to be around you. Who wants to be around somebody who's a bummer? Nobody, right? So think about it this way. The other thing that they do, top producers, is they put themselves in uncomfortable, and I misspelled that again, situations. They put themselves in some uncomfortable situations. For example, you say, I don't want to sell for sale by owners. I don't want to deal with them because they're jerks. You are making a situation where you cannot become a top producer because you're chopping a part of your market out. I don't want to I don't want to deal with short sales because it is such a pain in the butt. But I'll do foreclosures all day long because they're so much easier, right? I put myself in an uncomfortable situation and I have to grow. Now I have to get bigger. Kurt Stinson, in his interview, he said, look, he says, I was faced with a choice. The market that I had at the time, have any of you watched this interview? No? Yeah?
No?
Watch Kurt's interview. He said, I was faced in the early stages of this market crashing that my business was going away. And I had to make a choice. And so I sat down with another top producer and he told me, well, we got to figure out short sales or REO, what should we do? He said, well, I'll go to REO. Chris says, you know what, I'll go to short sales. And he developed a business based around that. And that's how he got where he's at with this. He had to find a way. You couldn't talk Kurt into doing a short sale in 2005. There's just no way. And now he does them left and right. That's what he has to do to make things work. But because he's willing to put himself into an uncomfortable situation, that's what caused him to grow. That's what causes top producers to change their mindset, is because they're constantly looking for ways to make your business better. What was the last thing you did? What was the last thing you did to try and get better? I want to throw that, just don't answer, but I want you to think about it. And this class doesn't count, okay? What have you done, studied, looked at, thought about, read, that will bring you money, that will bring you business in this year? And when was the last time you did it? Because your competition, me, every single day. I'm on the internet, I'm looking to see what other people are doing across the country. If you don't believe me, go on sellmorehomesnow.com or Sell More Homes Now, the YouTube channel there, right? You'll see what I'm seeing. I'm printing out the things and I'm saying, look, this guy over here is doing this. This guy over here is doing that. If you've not subscribed to that channel, if you don't have a YouTube channel, it's free, for Christ's sake. Get one, okay? Sign up, subscribe to it. Every day you'll get something new that I found on the internet at 2 o'clock in the frickin' morning, okay? I'm spending the time because I want to do better. And my challenge to you is you have got to find a way. Marissa, what if tomorrow Kurt cut you off and said you're fired? Where would you be? Where would you go? What would you do? Don't answer. George, what if every expired listing got relisted and the cancels got listed and the for sale by owners were selling themselves? Where would you get your business? Amos, what if every listing you had, the market crashed down even further and they still were overpriced and they still weren't selling and the sellers still wouldn't reduce it? Where would you get your paycheck for your wife and kids? You've got to think about this stuff. And think about it. Don't just pass it off. You've got to think about it. Put yourself in these uncomfortable situations. And don't be afraid, because that's what will turn you into a top producer. Okay? The next thing, you have to go ahead and look and understand that selling, okay, selling is not about you. Selling's not about you or your accomplishments or how great you are. Okay. Let's have a little role play. Okay? All right. Check it out. Marissa has a broken leg. She's out there and it's been raining and she falls down and breaks her leg. Okay? And she gets rushed into the hospital. And, oh man, her leg is killing her and it's swelling up and it's terrible. It hurts. And then she sits in the emergency room. Her friends are trying to comfort her the best she can. And, oh God, it's hurting me. The nurse gives her some medicine, trying to calm her down. And I come in. Hi, Marissa. Dr. Carl. Glad to meet you. I want you to know that I am a premier orthopedic surgeon. And I can ascertain by looking at your shoes. Boy, those are some really nice shoes you've got. Those are really, you got good taste. Louis Vuitton, right? They got the red soles. Oof, nice. You know, I was board certified in 1989, and since then I've performed over 2,000 surgeries. You get the point? They don't give a shit. Fix my leg, right? They don't care. But yet, we as realtors go in there all the time. And we tell them how great we are and the things we've done and the wonderful things that we are. They just want to sell their house. You're not a surgeon, okay? You're not a doctor. You're not a lawyer. They assume, okay, they assume you know how to sell when you first come over. They figured, hey, you know, this guy obviously knows what he's doing. He's a realtor. He dresses up nice, got a nice coat on. She wears a dress. She knows what she's looking like. She looks okay. They know what they're doing. They got a pre-listing package, the card. Obviously, they know how to sell the home.
At the same time, they do ask you also, how many homes have you sold? Have you sold in my neighborhood?
That's true.
You did all this stuff.
We'll get into that too.
This guy sold 200 homes. This guy sold 1 home.
Right. We'll get into that. That's a good question. I'm glad you brought it up. The question is, how do you end up dealing with those people who say, you know, Joe Blow sold 100 homes and you sold 1? How do I come around handling that objection? We can get into that too. Absolutely. They assume you know what you're doing until you open your mouth. Now, it seems like a pat answer. And I'm not going to, you know, be condescending to your question. Because your question is a valid question. And there are specific objection handlers that you can use to overcome that. And if you'd like, you know, I'll be happy to go over that with you at some point. Sure. But the larger answer, the big picture, if you will, they don't know that you've sold 1 home or 100 until you say something that causes them to think. Mm-hmm. They have certain expectations. George, for example. George is single-handedly one of the most analytical people I have ever met. I mean, he thinks it through. I mean, there is no question in his mind. When he comes to the house, he knows exactly what's going to happen and exactly what he's going to say. He knows everything inside and out and backwards and forwards, and boom, he knows it. Okay? Got it down cold. And they don't ask him, you know, how many homes have you sold? Because he has a certain look. You know, he's older appearing. You know, they think he knows what he's doing. Whereas you and I, we have to face certain realities. We look younger. I have 16 years worth of experience. He has less than 1. But he can go in there and they will assume that he knows what the hell he's doing.
Absolutely.
You know, because of the way he looks. And it's just not fair.
It's just not fair.
But
and
the reason why he can get those sorts of businesses is because of what he does here. Okay? As soon as you start to recognize, top producers recognize this, as soon as you start to realize that it's not about you, it's about them. Whenever they start talking about you and how many homes you've sold and this and that, one way to carefully go around it, and we'll go over this later, one of the ways to carefully go around it is to direct the conversation back to them and their problem. So you know what? that is a valid question, how many homes I've sold. Tell you what, before I get into that, let me ask you a couple quick questions. You said you needed to be in Oklahoma by noon or Tuesday or whatever. Well, yeah, I did. You've been able to kind of skirt the issue a little bit. That's one way you can handle it. And then there's some others direct, if they keep pressing you. Because a lot of times people, when they throw up objections like that, they're just getting you to slow down. Because they know where this is going. And they're like, you know, we want to sign, but maybe we need to, how many homes have you sold? You know what I mean? It's just like a smoke screen, just to kind of get you to, just give me a minute to think. That's really what it's all about. And then we continue to talk and talk ourselves out of a listing. But
they have to want to feel in control, and they're out of control if I've got everything going.
that's true, a lot of
And
times.
if I give it up a little bit and say, well, you know, what do you want to do? Suddenly they're comfortable. I don't know why it happens.
Certainly. Okay, next thing. They also understand, okay, that there are no jerks. There are no jerks. There are no jerks in the world until I show up. Okay? Until I show up. You see, think about it, okay? Marissa, do we hang out? No, we don't hang out. Amos, do we hang out? No? No. George, I know we don't hang out,
We don't hang out.
okay?
You don't know my song.
That's right. I don't even know your song. That's right. When you're in your own circles, okay, you know this. You are comfortable with your tribe, if you will, okay? You talk the same way, you say the same things, you think the same way about certain things, or maybe all of them are the Democrats, maybe all of you are Republicans, maybe all of you are, you know, into earth or whatever, you know, dogs or whatever your particular thing is. Your close group of friends, most of the time, are a lot like you. Okay? And then you come in as an outside tribe person. Take you back to the Bushman days, right? And this person, this interloper, comes into the tribe. They don't recognize you. And you start saying stuff that is foreign to their culture. You need to sell your home now. You need to sign with me. I'm the best agent. I'm number one in my market. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. They're not accustomed to that. So what do you become? Are they the ones who are jerks? Or are you the one who's a jerk?
I'm the invader.
You're the invader. And what do? They repel the invader. Okay? So how did the Indians manage to go ahead and track down buffalo?
They look like buffalo.
They look like buffalo. They took buffalo skins and put them over themselves. They're just crap. How many times have you seen a buffalo this big crawling in the forest? You don't. And yet they're able to survive and feed their families because they put some bloody, stinky buffalo thing over their bodies. You need to approach this the same way. Understand there are no jerks until you get in the picture. Because you look different. You act different. Okay? You don't talk the same. And then last but not least, the thing here that sellers, the top producers that have really made it big. Okay? One of the other things that they discovered is that selling is only one thing. It's all about discovering need and fulfilling it. Why is prospecting so hard? Why is presentation so difficult? Why is it that the closings are so rough? Why is it that the negotiations are going out of control? Why is it that this and why is it that? Why is it so hard? It's because maybe from the beginning you're not discovering their needs and then finding a good way to fulfill it. Look at the way that your business runs, okay? If you're prospecting, let's say, expires for sell by owners, expires, whatever, and they don't have to sell. Okay? They don't have to. They have the home free and clear. They were going to move to Miami, but things have changed. They kept the job, or the kids moved, or they changed their mind, or whatever. And you start going in there and trying to pound them till eternity about why they should meet with you. It's not fun for them, and it ain't fun for you. And nobody wins. Because you didn't take the time to discover their need. You didn't take the effort it took. And what the top producers have found is to become easy and effortless and enjoyable is to find out what is it that you need, like we talked about 2 days ago. What are your needs? And does it match my ability? If it matches my ability and I can do it, then let's talk. Because then it's just simply a discussion. Either you will or you won't. You'll like what I have to say or you won't. If their need exceeds your ability, you refer to somebody else who can do it. Like they do commercial property or something. I don't know a thing about commercial, so I give it to somebody who does, right? It's simply discovering needs and then finding a way to fulfill it. When you're able to do that effectively, that's when selling becomes a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier and a lot less effort. You don't have to fight and slug every day. And when you're in that place in your business, that's pretty fun. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns, emotional freakouts, anything like that? Yes? No? No?
No.
Okay, great. Then what we'll do is I'll go ahead. I'll be meeting with Sandy here in just a few moments, and we will be recording my interview with her. So I would recommend you take a look at that. That is very exciting.
So you record it and post it right away?
I'll record it and post it as soon as possible. Yeah.
They didn't like you have to edit it or mess with it?
No, I'm frankly not smart enough to edit stuff just yet. When we reach the pinnacle of knowledge, then I'll probably have that figured out. So I imagine that'll probably be 8-9 years from now. So, all right, great. Well, thanks for coming. You take care and have a great day.
Thanks, Carl.
Bye bye.
So